Who's to blame? That's what I want to talk about today on this edition of Tuesday Talks with Twyla. So it's very common for us to try to find someone or something else to blame for why something is a certain way, why we feel a certain way. And I want you to notice if this is what comes up for you in any situation, in relationship to another person or something like not a person, but a thing, like your job or business or some interaction, whatever it is. If you're trying to find someone to blame, or it's just kind of your like automatic response that you blame something for whatever it is that you're experiencing. Do you know where this is going? So when we are looking for something outside of us to blame or give credit for something we're experiencing, we are not open to create a different experience for ourselves. And isn't that why we're blaming to start with? We don't like whatever it is. We don't like the interaction or the experience. We don't like it. We don't want it. And so then we blame something outside of us for it, right? But what if you can change your experience and not blame anyone or anything outside of you and just look internal to say, what am I making this mean? What are my thoughts around this thing? And neutralize the thing into just something that's happened or a person, just the way they are, right? And when you neutralize that, right? What is that? That's the circumstance of the world, right? It's the neutral facts of whatever it is. Completely neutral. So it isn't like this person said or did this thing that has adjectives and description and emotion and drama, right? Anytime there's drama, you're outside of the neutral circumstance. Every time there's drama, the drama comes from your thoughts about the thing. It's your meaning that you're giving, it's your interpretation, it's yours, specific to you and unique to you, which means it's yours to change, not for them, not for that thing to be different, not for that person to be different. So all of these things that happen in the world around us, anything that's outside of us, right? It can be like our automatic response or our go-to programming that seeks out or looks for kind of something to point the finger at, something to blame, something or to give credit to. This can work on both sides, right? The positive and the negative. The negative usually is you're trying to find someone to blame for something. And the positive is you're trying to give credit to something or someone else, right? In both cases, we are giving all of the power out to something outside of us. The power to change our experience, the power to create something new, the power to change our life the way we want it to be. Because we can't actually change the things and the people around us. We want to. God knows we want to. We try to, right? And we even think they should be different, which can be part of our thinking around that person or that thing. That thing shouldn't have happened, or that thing shouldn't be that way. That person shouldn't do that, shouldn't talk like that, right? It's all of our thinking about the thing, the neutral thing. If we can create neutrality in whatever it is, the person or the thing, then we can peel away all of what else is there, which is all of our thinking. And sometimes it's our beliefs about someone or about something. And this isn't to say that if someone is a certain way that you're going to condone their behavior or that you're going to ever think that something's okay if it's not in alignment with your moral code, right? If someone isn't in alignment with that, that can create a lot of cognitive dissonance, right? It can create a lot of turmoil, a lot of internal conflict, because we don't think they should be that way, and that's, nobody should be that way, right? Whatever that is for you. And that can be really challenging to go up against, right? But it's not our job or our duty or our responsibility to change that person. We don't have to condone it. We don't have to like it. We don't even have to think about it, right? And when we separate ourselves from whatever that is, then we can start looking at, what are we thinking and believing here? What are we making this mean? How is this impacting my experience? Because when I think this way, I feel this way. And I can feel disempowered, or I could feel like just sick, or like the discomfort or the discontent about something being a certain way. And that's can be a very uncomfortable feeling, right? And sometimes that can create an action line that is motivation to go create change, or create organizations, or create structures or programs around these things, right? Create promotional programs to build awareness, or whatever that is, right? It can be motivating, but it also can be defeating. It also can be something that we internalize, and it's like self-defeating, because it's we're taking it on for ourselves, and we're experiencing our own thoughts and emotions about it, that's leaving us with a very like either negative or uncomfortable experience that's unnecessary. It's what my coach would call unnecessary suffering, right? I don't have to feel bad because of something that someone else does. I can choose to, but I don't want to live there, right? I can recognize something that's happened, either a person or a thing, and I can recognize that I don't condone it, I don't like it, I don't want it to happen. And I can reconcile that inside myself, but that's the world we live in. Those things do happen. I can't change that person or change that thing. Or what can I do? I can, help with these programs. I can volunteer my time. I can do whatever. But it's not my place to just live in that misery about this thing. And when we get stuck in that, it shouldn't be that way, they shouldn't act that way, this shouldn't be happening, and we just live there kind of in that spiral of it shouldn't, I don't like it, I don't want it, right? All of that. And that's our experience. Why? Right? That doesn't change what this person or this thing is doing in the world or to whoever. It's just making us miserable. And why? It's not purposeful. It's not serving us. It's not, and it's honestly not aligned for us, because we can be an advocate for certain things, or we can be promoting things that help with things. We can be on the positive side of that, if we choose to. And that's what we're talking about here, is understanding what happens when we blame something or someone else outside of us for what's going on, and what we're doing with that. If we're using it as motivation to create change, or if we're just experiencing the negative side of that and just kind of living there and staying there. What good does that do? Right? And there's a lot of things in the world, if you want to go that far, a lot of things in our country, in your country maybe, and there's a lot of things just in our more intimate life, our direct relationships, whether it's our immediate family, our extended family, our community, our local government, and governments, right? Like I'm in South Dakota, so we have county government, we have city government, we have state government, right? And there's all these, and then you have the federal government, obviously. You have all these layers. Like there's all these things that can have an impact on us. And there's a constructive way to handle certain things, in every situation, whether it's with my spouse or my immediate family or my extended family or my job or coworkers or boss, my work environment, my friends, my community, right? There's a way to deal with different things that doesn't have us just wallowing in the blame and like it shouldn't happen, it shouldn't be this way. That's not a place to live. It's not a place to stay. And when we do that, we're not creating any change. We're not creating any positivity out of it. We're just miserable. And for what? Right? And there's a lot of ways to rationalize that, right? You can rationalize it like, well, at least I'm not condoning it, or I'm not passive about it, or I'm not, right? Like ignoring the situation, like all of that. Like we have like this way of rationalizing if we feel bad, that kind of validates whatever it is that's happening in the world, right? It's our way of validating whatever that is that we don't agree with. And I want you to take a look at that, right? Particularly like in relationships, because I have found that this was something that I was doing. Like I was blaming like something my husband said on the way that I was feeling. And the way I was feeling wasn't from what he said, it was from what I thought about what he said. And that's why I always recommend that when we're trying to figure this stuff out, we create complete neutrality about the thing. So instead of being like, my husband said this and I say exactly what he said and I say it with a different tone, and or I say it, snarky, or I say it worse, or I say it mean, or I just put as the circumstance, my husband said words. Couldn't be more neutral than that, right? So what was I making that mean? What was I thinking about that made me feel the way I felt, right? And when you actually look at things and internalize all of it, I am miserable. He is fine. He doesn't even realize what he said. He doesn't understand like that I'm feeling this way, and I can tell him, right? Or I can tell anyone, like, when you said this, I felt that way. Well, the reason we do that usually is to try to get them to say they're sorry or say they shouldn't have said that. And sometimes they'll do that and it won't make it better, right? It's like, oh, now you just think you can say you're sorry and it erases everything, right? And so just take a look at all of it and look at how you can internalize what you're making it mean and how you're feeling, and recognize that everything that you're experiencing is coming from what you are thinking. So if you want to experience something different, you just have to change the way you're thinking about it. And that doesn't mean the other person has to change, or that they have to apologize, or that they need to do anything different. You can still change, and that doesn't mean that you validate or that you're condoning, right? Whatever it is that they're doing that you don't like, or you didn't like, or that made you feel a certain way originally, right? That made you think a certain way, that made you feel a certain way. I can change what I'm thinking and nobody needs to know, right? I don't need to go to that person or that thing and be like, well, just so you know, I think this way about it, so it's totally fine. Or I'm thinking and feeling this way about it, right? It's none of their business, not in any case. So this is work we can do for ourselves and change our experience with or without, right? I mean, if you're in an intimate relationship, there might be part of this that you want to have a conversation with the person. But if it's a coworker or a boss, and you're blaming your performance, or you're blaming your productivity, or you're blaming your meeting deadlines and things like that on something or someone outside of you, what are you doing about that? What are you doing about managing your mind around it, about managing your time around it, right? And how are you kind of giving away the power that you do have for your experience? Because it all comes back to us. We get to create the experience that we want within us. not by changing anyone else or making anyone else do something different. And all of this can happen so like swiftly and quickly without us even recognizing that we've given away our ability to create the change that we want by blaming something outside of us. And as long as we're doing that, right, we're not focused on ourselves at all while we're blaming, pointing the finger, and whatever you want to refer to it as, we're not looking internal when we're doing that. So if you've ever heard that, the old saying, I remember learning this when we were little, like when you're pointing at someone, there's three fingers pointing back at yourself. Right. And I remember, like, I mean, we learned that little on, had no idea, you know, you get like, yeah, I got three fingers, but like you didn't understand the depth of like the magnitude of what that means. It's everything, right? So if I'm focused on blaming or putting the blame or credit outside of me, I'm not doing any internal work. And nothing is changing for me. And that's not the experience I want to have. That's not a progressive, expanding growth mindset. If I want to create a different life, I look internal. How can I think about this differently? How can I think about this in a way that serves me, that creates an experience that I want to have? Not meaning that we're going to condone or say it's okay or whatever, but what is available to me from me? Like what's important, what's aligned for me? Because as soon as I'm blaming, I've lost all of my power. I've lost all of my ability to change and create something different for myself. And that's what we want, right? We want something to be different, but then we're expecting someone else to do it for us. And that's just sometimes, if we are successful in creating some change in something else or someone else, it's temporary. It's not that like thorough feeling of what it is when we do it for ourselves, because our original thoughts are still there. And then sometimes it creates a layer of like, well, they really didn't mean it, or, you know, they just changed because I told them to, right? You have all kinds of thoughts about that as well. Again, blaming the way that you're feeling or the experience that you're having on what they did or didn't do, or how they changed or what they did differently, right? You're constantly pointing or looking to something outside of you for what's going on inside of you. And right, then there's just something else, or there's something else. There's always, right? As soon as you do that, there's always. But we're always responsible for how we feel, and we can create that for ourselves. Always. Can always change it because it's all at our fingertips. If we know what to do differently, if we know what to change, we know what to work on. We have the tools, we have the techniques to create the change that we want, right? So there are times when I notice that I slip into this, and I thought, you know what? As soon as we do that, how powerless we are. I want to make sure that we keep reminding ourselves that whatever I'm experiencing is coming from me. And I don't want to blame it on someone else. I don't want to give the responsibility to someone else, because they can't fix it, and they won't fix it, or they won't do it right, right? It's mine to fix. So if I feel a certain way, I can create a different experience if I want to. And there's times when I feel a certain way about something, I want to feel that way, right? If there's a tragedy or a loss or a death or something like that, like I want to feel bad about it, and that's okay. And I want to feel like it shouldn't have happened. But if I get caught up in that, the reality is it did happen. The circumstances, it did happen. And me just thinking that it shouldn't have, keeps me in that spiral of, right, like wallowing in that negativity. But it did happen. So then what? How can I think about it differently that serves me? Or maybe I just don't let myself think the thoughts over and over. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened. Right? I can say, okay, this shouldn't have happened, and it did. So now what am I going to do about it? So now what? So what? Right? Like the meaning that you give, and so what? This happened, so then what? What do I want to do with it? What do I want to do differently? And that's all available to us when we're taking a look at what is within our realm of possibilities, our control, our capability. What's available to us to create the change? What can I do to feel better? Well, how can I think about this differently? And not giving up the things that we feel strongly about, the things that we don't want to condone, or we feel very convicted about a certain thing. And that's totally fine. That's not giving up any of that. Absolutely. We're not giving up anything that is like part of our morals or our values. There's none of that. But what do we make it mean? And if something has happened, it's a circumstance, it's neutral until we have a thought about it. And then what do we want to do about that? What do we want to do with the thinking that we have around it? How do we want to change it? What experience do we want to have around this? And sometimes, like I said, if we want to have the sadness and the grief and all of that around something, that's okay. We don't have to live there, right? We don't have to sacrifice our experience or our life because something happened, right? That doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't more validate whatever the person or the thing, right? It's just our experience, and we get to decide what that is. So take a look at where this shows up for you, because I fall into this sometimes. I'll notice where, like, I'll be feeling a certain way about something that I'm pointing the finger at or blaming someone else for. And I have to get a hold of that and go, whoa, look at your three fingers pointing back at you. Like, what's going on for you? What are you thinking about this? What are you making this mean? How do you want this experience to be different? What do you want to think instead? And then it's like, oh yeah, I can take a look at this. I can work through this. I can stop feeling that helplessness, that that powerless feeling of this happened or this is happening, right? Like whatever that is. I can change that for myself if I want to. It's available to me. And sometimes just knowing that I have that power, I have the capability, it's all right here waiting for me whenever I'm ready to pick up the tools and put them into practice, right? Sometimes just knowing that or reminding myself of that, it's like, okay, I don't have to stay here if I don't want to, right? I'm free to leave. I'm free to walk away. I'm free to make the change. I'm free to do whatever work needs to be done for this, for my experience. Okay, I'm not stuck here. I'm not, in a corner here with this. I have options. What do I want to do with this? And that alone can be a big deal, right? So, where are we blaming anything outside of us for our experience? And where can we create changes to what we're thinking so we can create an experience that is aligned and true for us? It is what we want to experience. It is the life that we say, I'm living my dream life. I'm so happy. I'm loving this life. What would that look like for you? Is that what you're experiencing? It's available to you. Until next week, have an amazing week.